One of the most challenging parts of coaching is when your clients are ambivalent to change. So what ambivalence means is they're kind of a little bit about it. They've got conflicted feelings about making a change. They're unsure whether the benefits outweigh the cost. It's basically a state of uncertainty, okay, where they recognize they need to change, but the actual idea of changing is too hard for them. So if we can understand this and transform this, then we can get people to change, which is really, really important. So there's 4 strategies in this presentation that you can use really, really quickly. And these can really push someone towards changing in the right direction, which I'm a big fan of. So the first one is a change talk wedge, exploring why people don't want to change. So you acknowledge your client's resistance to reflecting why they want to make the change. And when you emphasize that, you create space for a client to explore their own reasons. So I understand this is hard. And then silence, and then let them feel the silence of their own thoughts, and then they'll start to articulate. So I generally like to do, I can see how this might be difficult, this might be really hard. What do you think you could do to maybe help overcome that? And by emphasizing with the hesitation, you get them to voice their motivations, think about, and it'll feel more achievable. Because most people are really good at solving problems. They're really good at solving problems for other people. They just suck at doing it for themselves. So applying that same skill set that they already have to solving their own problems, they can actually come up with something that can work for them. Never underestimate how good your clients are at solving problems. Now, the continuum is finding middle ground, okay? In this strategy, you're going to explore compromise. So a lot of people want the immediate drastic transformation, and you want to find a manageable one that moves them forward. So ready, willing framework is really good there. But then another question could be, if you just take one small step towards this change, what would it look like for you? So if someone's saying, 12 beers, and use that previous example, they're going to cut down to 0, and they're not really, willing to do that, okay? 12 beers, I'm not really willing to cut out alcohol totally. Okay, cool, no problems. If you want to take one small step towards that, what would it look like? What would it look like for you? And then they'll probably come up with the exact goal that they need to hit really, really quickly. So once they get that small, realistic change, they build confidence and momentum. They don't feel overwhelmed, they win. Now, the crazy question is what's good about it, okay? If they reflect on it, they can actually find that they have other ways to achieve their goals. So what do you like about it? Like anything that's actually working for you? And when they look at the positives, it's good socially, but I could always do something else. So it starts to allow them to start thinking of a slightly different way in which they can do that. And then the self solution is when you empower the client to come up with their own solution really, really quickly, rather than prescriptively. Okay. So what do you think you should do to make this change? How we can break it down in smaller steps. You're asking them to kind of be the leader and the architect of their own change. If you can do that, then what's happened is the client's driving the conversation. They're feeling empowered. They've got that sense of ownership and accountability. So it can allow them to have that intrinsic motivation. So out of these 4 strategies, I generally find most of the time I use the change talk wedge and the continuum. For most people, that is a decent strategy to help them get the best outcomes when it comes to overcoming ambivalence to change.